In my 21 years on planet Earth, I've learned two things. Don't eat the yellow snow, and everybody loves soda. Even though it's basically just sugary stomach acid, we still drink gallons of the stuff every year, and no other soda is more iconic than good old-fashioned Coca-Cola. It's probably because the recipe hasn't changed for over 100 years. Or has it? You see, over 30 years ago, the Coca-Cola Company decided to change the recipe to something different, a recipe with a sweeter flavor, backed by taste tests. But why would they change the original recipe, unless there is some other intent behind it? Was it an actual blunder, or was it the product of something more sinister, something they don't want you to know? In this video, I'll get to the bottom of this mystery once and for all, and expose the truth behind the beverage that shocked the world. Get ready to open your third, fourth, and fifth eye. This is the new Coke conspiracy. Let's take this back to 1985. During the time of Springsteen, Madonna, and way before Nirvana, Coca-Cola CEO Roberto Goizueta wanted to come up with a new flavor of Coke. He had already come up with Diet Coke and Cherry Coke, and yet the company was still losing market share to Pepsi. You see, Coke was advertised at the time to be less sweet than Pepsi. That was its main selling point. They even brought in Bill Cosby to, let's just move on. So one night, Roberto and the rest of the Coke executives decided to get high on their own supply, and partied till there's no more headroom. And the next morning, Roberto woke up and said, "Hey, what if we made Coke but even sweeter?" People loved it too. They ran a bunch of taste tests and had higher approval ratings than Pepsi and regular Coke. But here's when things get really interesting. You see, in the taste tests they asked people how they feel if this flavor was the main Coke. Some people were okay with it, but others hated the idea. They hated it so much that they peer pressured the other survey takers to say they would hate the idea too. So Roberto and the gang had a dilemma. What were they going to call their new flavor? How would the public react if they changed the recipe to regular Coke? On April 22nd, 1985, they reached back into their supply for ideas on how to save the company. And the next day, they found one. New Coke, baby! This is a radical label, a hip new marketing campaign. Pepsi? More like Pep shit! This soda's the future, man! Except it wasn't. People were really upset that the new formula was replacing the old one. People called in and wrote letters every day asking Coca-Cola executives why. Why would they change such an iconic flavor? Back then, no one knew, but now it's kinda common knowledge. Or is it? While the common story is that the execs got high on their own supply, I'd say there's more to it than that. There's something that they aren't telling us. They being anyone who worked for Coke in 1985. After pouring in countless research over the past few months, I think that I finally figured it out. You see, there's no way that Coke would release a new flavor without any prior warning, especially if it was going to replace the old one. They knew sales were going to spike because people were going to snatch up the old Coke while it lasted, but then there was going to be people who bought new Coke just to try it out. So that meant even more sales for the company. But here's the real kicker, just 78 days after new Coke launched, they changed the formula back. And as a result, sales increased even more because people wanted to taste old Coke again, and they also wanted to get new Coke before it was all gone. The whole thing was just a marketing stunt, just to raise their profits. But was it? Think about it. New Coke came out in '85. Do you know what mountain has a volume of 85 cubic meters? That's right, Mount Shasta. And guess what soft drink has the same name as a mountain? What was that? It's Shasta, everybody! It was Shasta the whole time. Look it up. Go read a book. Shasta created New Coke. Send tweet.